What is going on, guys? Happy September the 20th. And oh my God, these primetime games continue to live up to the unbelievable just expectation that it's been set at. When you start on the Thursday night with the Cowboys Buccaneers, you get a classic of a game. Then, the Bears game kind of sucked versus the Rams. But the Ravens versus the Raiders, what a game. Giants, Washington, great game. And now Kansas City versus Baltimore might have been the best one yet. What a game. Down to the wire. Oh my God. What a game. Lamar Jackson gets his first win against Patrick Mahomes and his first win against the Chiefs. The Ravens avoid an 0-2 start, which is kind of huge. This game was incredible. This game was absolutely incredible. To beat the Chiefs, you have to almost play a perfect game. And early on, when Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu gets a pick six to start the game in his first game back after COVID, it's like, okay, this could be a long night for Lamar and the Ravens. Well, they kept fighting back, they kept chipping away. And all game, they stayed around. They did what they needed to do. But even at one point in the fourth quarter, when it was a double-digit lead for the Chiefs, it still looked like the Chiefs were in control. Well, then Lamar took them on a drive. Boom, touchdown, gets in for 6. Go for 2, and they didn't get it. It's 35-30. It looks like the Chiefs have had this game over with. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, late in the game, after the Ravens go down and actually score a touchdown to take a 1-point lead, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, inside the 40-yard line, fumbles, a very costly mistake. Ravens recover, and the Ravens end up winning the game. This was insane. I mean, Lamar Jackson, look, we all know he's more of a rusher than he is passer, but he still aired it out a little bit. 239 passing yards. He was quite decent, but the big difference was him on the ground with 107 rushing yards. That's where I think the biggest factor was. I think he played phenomenal, just making Kansas City decide where to bait on the read option, and it opened up a lot of big gains for that Ravens running game. That's their bread and butter. He had 3 total touchdowns. He had the game-winning first down run to close it out. Look, you got to remember, the Ravens, they do not have their first-string running back, their second-string running back, or their third-string running back. They're down to their fourth-stringer and a bunch of practice squad guys that they signed. So that's, first of all, an unbelievable performance by Lamar Jackson. But also, that's Patrick Mahomes' first career loss ever in September. That's wild. He threw his first interception as well in September. These games are just absolutely unbelievable in prime time, to say the least. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I mean, that's a big win for the Ravens, but what a game. That was a great almost ending to our beautiful week 2. This was a hell of a week in football. So let's just start it off Thursday night. Like we're talking about these primetime games, let's look at that Giants versus Washington football team. Washington, they pull one out towards the end. Hopkins hits a game-winning field goal. Little bit of a questionable call towards the end. Dexter Lawrence, New York Giants defensive tackle, jumps off sides. There is some video, review that shows he was off, and some that says he timed the snap perfectly. Why that's such a big deal? Because Washington missed the kick first, and then they call the offsides. They get a second try, and boom, that's huge. They make it. That's massive. That's big towards your season on a win or loss right there. That game was great, though. How about Taylor Heinicke, right? Taylor Heinicke was going back into college about a year ago, getting his degree, starting a real job, 9 to 5 or whatever. All of a sudden, that one of the, I don't know if it was the XFLs or one of the random leagues starts up, he becomes a quarterback there. And then he gets his chance there. Now, he's a practice squad quarterback, becomes the emergency quarterback if needed, then goes out and balls out against Tampa Bay in the playoffs. Still lost, but he at least got a respect on his name. Now look at him, leading game-winning drives against the New York Giants on primetime football on Thursday night. Now you solidified yourself as the starter on an NFL franchise. Life comes at you fast. He played great, though. He played great. Giants, without a doubt, I will say this about Joe Judge's team. I will say this about Joe Judge's team. There is not a team in the NFL, that is worse coached than the New York Giants. It's undeniable. The New York Giants are one of the worst coached teams in the NFL, and I will stand by that statement. They are a terrible, terrible football team. But that was a great Thursday night game. Washington to the wire, all these close games. You love to see it. Now, a big storyline in week 2 was all the injuries. It was not good. You look at just this little list here that I have down. TJ Watt, hurt his groin. Tyrod Taylor, Tua. We don't know how bad Tua's is, but Jacoby Brissett time maybe in Miami. Yikes. Jarvis Landry, Bradley Chubb, Andy Dalton. The list goes on and on and on. Those are just some big headline names. There was a lot of injuries. Not good. Injuries are a part of the game, but it felt like everybody was dropping like flies. Not good at all. But, yeah. Luckily, none of them were serious injuries. They're going to be back shortly, you would hope. But, yeah, injury galore. Injury galore. But let's keep going here, guys. Let's keep going. All right. I talked about there is no moral victories in the NFL. After that Cowboys-Buccaneers game, I felt good about it. All right, let's start for the 425 games and work our way down. Cowboys-Chargers. What a game. What a game. I will tell you this right now. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are a real football team. You can mark my words. They have the highest quality win in the NFC East right now against the Chargers compared to the rest of the division, and they have the best loss against the Buccaneers. Division favorites? I think so. I think so. I think this is the best team in the NFC East. I think after week 2, from what I've saw, I love it. Look, the Dallas Cowboys had the football 3 times in the second half and scored 6 points and won the game. That's not a recipe for success, but they made it a success. They made it a success. Greg Zuerlein, 56-yard bomb. I've been giving him criticism. I still am not a fan of him. I think we should have beat Tampa Bay, but he came up unclutch and it wasn't good. But that game, you look at Dallas in the midweek. DeMarcus Lawrence goes down with an injury. Randy Gregory gets COVID. Lyle Collins is suspended. Gallup gets injured. Coming into this game in LA, it's not looking good at all. It looks pretty brutal. And they kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm going to give the defense credit. I am very harsh on them. I think we have one of the worst defenses in the league, but they held the Chargers to 17 points. I got to be happy there. We're forcing turnovers inside the 10-yard line. Massive plays, massive times. And I don't even think this is a hot take, but it might be for some. I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Pollard works his way up to running back 1 over Ezekiel Elliott. I really wouldn't. Tony Pollard over 100 rushing yards, one of the better games in his career, a touchdown. He played absolutely phenomenal. Now you look at Zeke on the other hand. Zeke was better. Zeke had over 60 yards rushing. He also had a rushing touchdown, and he had a lot of good receiving yards. But the reason why I think Zeke stays running back 1 is because he's just too valuable. And he's a good pass blocker, but he makes plays. He's a good he can catch passes out of the backfield. It's good to have this 2-headed monster, though. It's good, especially in an 18-game season. You want to keep everybody fresh. This is a huge win for the Cowboys. With everybody injured, with everybody getting suspended or COVID, whatever is going on with this football team right now, to go into LA and get that win is absolutely massive. You look at the next couple stretch of games for Dallas, they should be favored. You're at home to Philadelphia, you should win that. You're at home to the Carolina Panthers, should win that. You're at home to the New York Giants, you should win that. And then you go on the road to the New England Patriots. We don't know if Mac Jones is good or not. So this is a critical time in the Cowboys season to maybe get themselves a little bit of a lead and a cushion in this terrible NFC East. What a game, though. What a game. What a game. Greg Zuerlein, 56-yard bomb. Thank you. You look at the Chargers, Justin Herbert, he played well, but he made some bad mistakes. Couple bad interceptions. Got to be better there. Chargers, good football team, though. They're a good football team. I do think that. But what a game. What a game. That made me very happy. I'm a very happy man right now. What can I say? What can I say? But another 4 o'clock game. The Seattle Seahawks versus the Tennessee Titans. Oh my God, what a game we had, ladies and gentlemen. What a game. You look, Derrick Henry's a tank. And I've heard it from people in the offseason. Oh, Derrick Henry, he's gotten ran so much. He's going to be worn down. This isn't going to be a great year for Derrick. Well, against Seattle, you look at that first half, I would have probably agreed with you. Seattle was just scoring at ease on that Tennessee secondary. Tyler Lockett got a 60-yard touchdown. Freddie Swain had like a 50, 60-yard touchdown as well. They were getting the deep shots. Tennessee could not stop them. And then after that 50-yard total yards for Derrick Henry and 0 touchdowns in the first half, he came out of that locker room, whole different guy. Whole different guy. Derrick Henry in the second half alone had 187 total yards, 3 touchdowns. You know what the Seahawks had in the second half and overtime combined? 163 yards. Yeah. Derrick Henry had 187 by himself. He came to play. And the Titans, Fat Randy Bullock, Fat Randy's his nickname, drills a game-winning field goal for the Titans as they go on the road to a good Seattle Seahawks football team and hit a walk-off field goal in overtime to win the game. What a game that was. Derrick Henry is a monster when he wants to be. He's an absolute monster when he wants to be. That was such a great game. Great game. Now, sticking that 4 o'clock window, you got the Falcons versus the Bucks. I don't think the Falcons are good, but they showed a little bit of fight here. Now, let's look at this. Shout out my Kentucky boy, Mike Edwards. Not 1 pick six, but 2 pick sixes on Sunday afternoon. That a boy, Mike. You love to see that. I love to see it. Mike's a great guy. I wish all nothing but the best for him. Good job, Mike. But Tom Brady, yeah, pretty good. I think we already knew this. 5 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, 276 yards. He's just so good, isn't he? I hate it. I hate that he's so good. He's just ridiculous. Look, Tom Brady's 44 years old. He's thrown 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks. When is this guy going to age? Like, honestly, when is this guy going to age? 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks at 44 years old. At 44 years old, you're sure as hell not supposed to be playing in the National Football League. I can promise you that. I can tell you that much right now. You probably shouldn't be. Now let's look at this. Tom Brady is 499 yards, basically 500 yards away almost, from breaking the all-time passing record by Drew Brees. Drew Brees has over 80,000 passing yards. Tom Brady now is on pace to break that record in 2 weeks and become the all-time NFL leading in passing yards. You know who they play in that 2 weeks? It just so happens to be his return home against the Patriots. You think emotions are going to be a little high there? Because I do. I think emotions are going to be a little high in that game. You first time versus Belichick. You go back to Foxborough, and you have a chance to break the record for becoming the best or the most passing yards ever by an NFL quarterback in the history of the NFL. That will be great. The ratings are going to be off the roof for that game. Buccaneers, Patriots in Foxborough. You can't script it any better. That's going to be such a good game. But overall, the Buccaneers just manhandle the Falcons. They win by double digits. They smoked them. Falcons have a lot of things to work on. That secondary is one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. Like, you get Kyle Pitts, that's great. That's not the solution to the problem right now in Atlanta. Matt Ryan's aging. Matt Ryan's not good. That defense is not good. You think Dan Quinn was the problem? I don't think so. I don't think Dan Quinn was the problem. I think Dan Quinn's a great defensive coordinator. Maybe not a head coach, but Dan Quinn wasn't the problem. It's the product that's put on that field around him because they suck. Yikes. I'll tell you a team that I am very, very high on right now. And that happens to be the Oakland Raiders. They go into Pittsburgh and win 26-17 over the Steelers. Derek Carr, after 2 games now, has thrown for 817 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the Raiders just so happen to be 2-0. And they're great wins. You've beaten Baltimore, and you've beaten Pittsburgh. If you are a Raiders fan, you should be thrilled. Now, Derek Carr did suffer a minor injury. He finished the game, though. Hopefully, it's not a lingering injury or anything like that. But Derek Carr, Darren Waller, that team, John Gruden, should be happy. You're playing in one of the hardest divisions in football by having to maintain pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. But right now, you know who's in first? The Raiders. So shout out them. I was very high on them last year, saying I thought they could possibly sneak into the playoffs. I would not be the least bit surprised if the Raiders are a playoff team this year. Now, we got a long way to go. We got 16 more weeks to go. 16 more weeks. A long way to go. Long way to go. That's a big win right there, though, for the Raiders. That's a big win. And Pittsburgh, on the other hand, Ben Roethlisberger looks a little shaky. That defense didn't look great. Like I said, TJ Watt going out with that injury, that's a dagger. Yes, it's a groin injury, but we don't know how long this is. Maybe it's a week to week. Maybe it's a day to day. If you lose a guy like TJ Watt, that's losing the leader of that defense. He's one of the best, if not the best, edge rushers in football and defensive players in football. So that would hurt. That would hurt. But you look at Pittsburgh, they're 1-1. Cincinnati's 1-1. Baltimore's now 1-1. Cleveland's 1-1. So everybody in that division, all 1-1. All 1-1. Now, a team that I have going to the Super Bowl, the Los Angeles Rams. Boy, are they a good football team. 27-24 in a dogfight against the Indianapolis Colts. You know who's kind of linking up right now that's just pretty good together? Pretty good, I would say. That would happen to be Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. You look at week 1, what Cooper and Stafford did together. 7 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Especially against the Bears' defense is quite decent. Now let's go play the Colts, who have a very good defense. 9 catches, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, have yourself a day. My God, I mean, this guy's the real deal. Cooper Kupp's the absolute real deal, if you ask me. He's playing unbelievable football right now. Absolutely unbelievable football. So that's a huge win for the Rams to go into Indianapolis, because Indianapolis has a good team. Now, you also have to look at this if you're Indy. Tough start to your year. You get the Seahawks at home. That's a tough game. You get the Rams at home. That's a tough game. Now you got to go play at Tennessee. Tennessee's coming off of a major victory. They're a good game. Or good team. Good team. I wouldn't overreact if I'm an Indianapolis fan. You look at the Texans, they're 1-1, and the Titans are 1-1. You're still only a game out. It's way too early to overreact. But seeing Carson Wentz possibly have a minor injury, okay, well, that's where you could possibly turn your heads. Not being able to finish the game, having Jacob Eason have to finish the game. That's never a recipe for success, having Jacob Eason come in. Carson Wentz took in too many shots, a couple of hits here and there, and it caught up to him. Hopefully it's not a serious injury, because the whole season gets turned on its head if Carson Wentz goes out and Jacob Eason has to step in. But the Colts are going to get this together. I still think they're going to win the division. I'm high on the Colts. They'll figure it out. 2 tough games aren't going to determine your season after 2 weeks. Long football to be played. A lot of football to be played. They're going to be okay. You know who's not going to be okay? The New York Jets. The New York Jets suck. 25-6, Patriots beat the Jets. Hey, Zach Wilson, I hate you. I can't stand you, and I'm saying this with love. I played the Patriots defense. I was versing them in fantasy football. Zach Wilson seemed to struggle to realize that he plays for the New York Jets. He started the game 2 for 5 with 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions on 5 attempts. That's atrocious. That's atrocious. You think it got any better? No. He threw his 4th interception to no man's land. There wasn't even a guy 10 yards even in the vicinity. He just threw one up and said, hey, what the hell? Let's hope for the best here, right? Yeah, well, guess what? It didn't. It went terrible. It went terrible. Zach Wilson, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm sticking with my take. I've said this before. I've had people disagree. I've had people agree with me. I think Zach Wilson's the worst rookie quarterback in this draft. I do. Trevor Lawrence will have a better career than him. Justin Fields will have a better career than him. Mac Jones will have a better career than him. And hey, for the love of God, let's throw a wild card out there. Kyle Trask, when Brady ever retires, when he's about 67, Kyle Trask can be a backup the rest of his career. He'll have a better career than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's atrocious. I mean, I don't think there's any. If you want to argue with me, go for it. But Zach Wilson straight up sucks. And I said the take, he was going to be the worst rookie quarterback, and I stand by that. After what I saw against New England, that wasn't even in Foxborough either. That was on his home field, and he looked that bad. His reads were terrible. That was atrocious. And the Patriots do have a good defense. But now next week, he's got to go play the Broncos. And the Broncos have a very good defense. Very good. Yeah. Simple as that. Simple as that. Sticking with the Broncos here. Big 23-13 victory over Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars have now lost again. Is Urban Meyer going to go to USC? Because taking this Jaguars job is a very bad idea. The Jaguars have a long way to go in the rebuild. A long way to go in the rebuild. It's not good. You got a lot of time. A lot of time there. Yeah. Broncos, though, let's look at them. They're 2-0. Broncos are 2-0. They beat the Giants, they beat the Jaguars, and they get the Jets. You couldn't really ask for a much better start if you're a Denver fan. You have to absolutely love that start by getting 3 winnable games. You could start off 3-0, and I think they will. Teddy Bridgewater's playing great. Teddy Bridgewater throws for over 300 yards again. He doesn't turn over the ball much. He's perfect for that offense. He's perfect for that offense, and that's why the Broncos keep winning games. They won 2 road games, too. They did it on the road. So, shout out Denver. That's huge, huge. Jacksonville got a long way to go. Now, we talked about Tua's injury, and hopefully it's not bad, because if it is, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. My Super Bowl pick from the AFC, the Buffalo Bills, 35-0'd the Dolphins on the road. That's the Buffalo team that I know. I know Buffalo's capable of that. I know Buffalo can be that good. Good, Buffalo. Good. Because no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Good work. Good win. 35-0'd Miami. Yikes, you might have a problem. Yeah. Tua has been a bust. All capitals. Bust. And now that injury, that hurts. Buffalo, you can build some momentum here. Take it with you. That's big. That's big. Now, San Francisco. Yeah, let's talk San Francisco first. San Francisco goes on the road to Philadelphia. Jimmy Garoppolo's not good. Jimmy Garoppolo's not good. Yes, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles 17-11, but weren't we talking about last week how Philadelphia's offense looks great? I wasn't. I'm just telling you what I heard from the media and ESPN and all this fun stuff. That, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is so good. Jalen Hurts is so good. The Eagles can really score the ball. People are sleeping on the Eagles. Okay. Maybe. You didn't look good at all, though, against the 49ers. 17-11 victory for the Niners. They come from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast and handle business. Big job. Good job, San Fran. San Fran moves to 2-0. Philadelphia now, 1-1. They got to go on the road to Dallas on Monday Night Football. That's going to be a good game because I don't want to overlook Philly. I think Philadelphia's a decent team. Jalen Hurts, they got a tough offense to stop. You know, the scheme they run, they can really cause defenses problems. So I think it is going to be a good game. But San Francisco, that was a big win. But if you're a San Fran fan, yeah, you got to be a little nervous, though. You have an injured Hasty. He gets hurt. Elijah Mitchell hurts his shoulder. Trey Sermon gets like a shoulder head injury. Not good. You already have Raheem Mostert with the torn ACL. That's 4 running backs knocked up with injuries. That's not good at all. That's not good at all. So that's got to be fixed. But big win over Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got to get their crap together. Bengals versus the Bears. All right. Joe Burrow threw for 3 picks. This wasn't great. It's just not great. As a diehard Bengals fan myself, this hurt. Andy Dalton gets hurt. This was Justin Fields' time. And Justin Fields had an interception, and he had a fumble that he recovered. Justin Fields actually didn't really look that good. Now, I know he got subbed into the game or whatever, so it's tough to adapt, and I'm not going to criticize a guy or critique a guy for one game of how he looked. But I will say, when he had the quote where this is kind of moving slow, it's really not that fast, yeah, it's going to heat up here. It's going to heat up. But nonetheless, the Bears win 20-17. Justin Fields did get his team the victory. And that's all you can ask for. So Bears are 1-1. Bengals suffer a tough loss. You got to go at Pittsburgh next week. That could be a tough one. But that game was so boring. That game was a boring football game. Now, Texans, Browns, 31-21. My take still stands with the Texans. I don't think they're winning a game the rest of the year. I think they are the Jacksonville Jaguars of last year. You win week 1, you lose every single game the rest of the year. I'm sticking with that statement. I'm going to ride till they win one. Hopefully they don't. Browns, on the other hand, I wasn't impressed at all. Before Tyrod Taylor got hurt, the Texans were really in this game. If Tyrod doesn't get hurt, I don't know what happens. Oh, they're showing Greg Zuerlein kick in the background. Attaboy, Greg. Way to put that through the uprights, kid. Let's go. But yeah, I'm not impressed with the Browns after that. But they won. They won, and that's what matters. A win is a win. You get back in the win column. You get your first of the year. And Texans, you have a quick turnaround. You got to play Thursday night against Carolina. If Tyrod can't go, the rookie quarterback Davis Mills has to go. It's just a recipe for a very long season in Houston. Houston, we got a problem. You surely do. You surely do. Jameis Winston versus the Panthers. Well, you throw 5 touchdowns one week, and then the next week you get absolutely humbled. The Panthers aren't a good football team, and they humbled the Saints. That's not good if you're a Saints fan. 26-7. Yikes. Carolina looks great. Carolina's 2-0. Shout out Matt Rule. Great team. Great team. Now, the Vikings Cardinals, Greg Joseph misses a 30-something yarder to lose the game against the Cardinals. What a game, though. 34-33. This was a shootout. Rondell Moore, have yourself a day. 7 catches, over 100 yards, a touchdown. He played phenomenal. Kyler Murray was insane. He was incredible. And the Vikings, just an unlucky football team right now. Just an unlucky football team. You're 0-2 right now. That's not great. That's not great. You lost a heartbreaker. Even the Vikings broadcast thought that the kicker made it and was screaming that the Vikings won and then realized he missed. That's a heartbreaking experience. If you're listening to the game on the road or something, to hear that and then to realize you lose, that would suck. But the TV broadcast, having Gus Johnson, that was my highlight of the day. It's so good to have Gus to do college and pro. I absolutely love Gus Johnson. Favorite commentator in all of sports, to be completely honest. I love that guy to death. He's so awesome. He's so awesome. But that's our week 2 slate so far. Tonight we got the Lions Packers. It's great. I'm excited. But it was an electrifying week 2, nonetheless. All right, here we go. Max pick 5. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. I thought we were getting winners. I thought this was straight up going to be 5-0. I didn't even worry about it, to be honest. I thought this was straight up locks. I thought it was a lock and a half. It wasn't. It wasn't anywhere close. It was actually brutal. We went 0-5. Yeah. On Wednesday night when I made the podcast for Thursday, if I would have just picked every other single one that I said, we would have went 5-0. But I also did say you should fade me. If you faded me, you went 5-0. So there you go. You should be happy in some aspect. Let's just start off Friday night. UCF, a 7-point favorite over Level. I'm not making excuses, but holy hell, UCF, you're awful. I'm not betting for you ever again. I'm just not. Their quarterback broke his collarbone on the last play. That causes problems. You have an interception with under a minute left. All you need is a field goal to win the game. It wouldn't have won me the spread, but it would have won you the game. And you throw a pick 6. You throw a walk-off pick 6 to lose the game. Brutally outrageous. Brutally outrageous. I'm not pleased. Nope. UCF, nope. Not happy with Gus Malzahn. So that was already a bad start to our weekend. That's when you kind of sit back and go, well, this could be a problem. Well, you're not wrong. Oklahoma 26, Nebraska 16. Okay, Oklahoma didn't cover the spread. Won the game, didn't cover the spread. I didn't realize that used to be a rivalry game, and I probably should have. That's on me. Nebraska was going to come out and play with a little heart and energy. They still suck, but they still played well, or decent enough. 23-16, 0-2. Alabama, Florida. All right, that was a 14.5 spread. Look, I didn't think Florida was one of the best teams in the country. They are. They're the only team to lose and not get their ranking changed because they didn't deserve to move down. Fair enough to Florida. You lost by 2 points to the best team in the country that's going to win the national championship. You took them to the wire. You didn't convert your 2-point conversion to send it into overtime. Okay. Florida's a good football team. Florida, what we realized from week 2 in college football is the Florida Gators are a legitimate football team that has a chance to contend for the SEC championship. They can contend with Georgia. I didn't think we had a team in the East that could contend with Georgia. And I'm a Kentucky fan, so I can be biased, but I'm not. After what I saw against UT Chattanooga, no chance in hell right now would I be that confident. But Florida's a good team. Good for them. They took Alabama to the wire. The atmosphere seemed absolutely incredible. Anthony Richardson didn't play at all. He's a factor. He's a huge factor. So, that was a horrible bet. Now that I look at it, that was awful. I didn't think Florida was going to be anywhere in the realm of Alabama. And you know what? Fair play. They were. They came out with heart. Alabama is a good football team still. To go on the road and win that, that's huge. Ohio State versus Tulsa. Tulsa was 0-2. Ohio State was 5-0. Or, not 0-2. 1-1. That was a 24.5 spread, and they won by 21. I didn't realize Tulsa has covered the spread against top 10 teams the last 5 times they've played. Well, would have liked to have known that before we put the bet down. So yeah, and then Iowa State versus UNLV. We don't even need to get into that. We weren't even close. So basically what I'm saying is, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen again. But if you faded me, you did great. You did great. You went 5-0. I promise you, I'm going to crunch the numbers. I'm going to watch film. We're getting this shit figured out. This next weekend, we're going 5-0. On Thursday's show, I'm coming out with 5 winners. That was one of my most brutal weeks of all time. No excuses. It was just one of those weeks. It was one of those weeks, you know? That sucked. That was atrocious. Not going to happen again. No. Let's talk about Clemson. Does Clemson suck? Now, of course they don't. They're number 9 in the country. But Georgia Tech isn't good at all. Georgia Tech, you have to remember, lost to Northern Illinois in week 1. Georgia Tech lost to Northern Illinois in week 1. And had a chance to beat Clemson on the final play. And they didn't. They lost 14-8. If you're Clemson, you shouldn't be beating Georgia Tech on your home field by 6 points. That should be a blowout and a half. Their defense hasn't allowed a touchdown all year. Their defense is unbelievably impressive. Maybe the best defense of the country, at least one of them right there with Alabama and Georgia. They're very, very good defensively. That offense needs to get figured out fast. If Clemson has any shot of wanting to contend, you're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to tell you this right now, personally. I don't see how they get into the playoff, even with 1 loss. You hear me out. They do not play a single ranked team. We've talked about that before, but they don't. They haven't played a single ranked team. They don't play a single ranked team the rest of the year. The ACC is terrible. Like, the ACC is terrible. The only way they can play a ranked team is if it's North Carolina, Virginia Tech in the ACC championship. So that's not good. That's not good. They got to get it figured out. I'm not sold on them at all. But a team I am sold on is Penn State. Penn State against Auburn Saturday night was great. I'm going to tell you this. The whiteout is not only the greatest thing in college football, it is the greatest sporting event, sporting atmosphere in the whole entire world. That's what I think about the whiteout game. I think the whiteout game is that special. I think the whiteout game is so sick. I think it's so sick. Sean Clifford played a hell of a football game. Penn State's defense played a hell of a football game. So at the beginning of the season, who had Penn State at Iowa on October 9th and Oregon at UCLA October 23rd as maybe 2 of the biggest games determining the college football playoff? Because you look at it, Iowa's a top 5 team in the country right now. Penn State's top 6, top 7 team in the country right now. That's huge. Those are the 2 teams you have to pay attention to out of the Big Ten. Ohio State's there too, but not really. Well, yes, but not as big as Penn State, not as big as Iowa right now. Yes, you look at Oregon. They're number 4 in the country. They deserve to be. They're a great football team. UCLA, they're a great football team. They lost to Fresno State, though. That's not a bad loss, but it is a bad loss. Fresno State's now a top 25 football team, but UCLA's chance to make the playoff, gone, out. I don't think they had one in the first place. But it's only week 3, and we've had some madness. But how would you like to be Auburn? You struggled against Penn State. You took a loss. Here's their next 5 games. Auburn has to play at LSU next week, home to Georgia, at Arkansas, home to Ole Miss, at Texas A&M. All in a row. No buys. All in a row. And then you get Alabama to end the season. welcome to the SEC, Auburn. Or not, no, I mean Auburn. I mean Brian Harsin, whatever the coach's name is. This isn't Boise State anymore. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Every single one of those teams are ranked besides LSU. But you're going to Baton Rouge, which, I mean, that's not ever fun, is it? That sucks. So, tough for Auburn right now. Tough. That's not going to be good. But that was a great college football weekend. No really huge games. No really big upsets until after dark with Fresno State beat UCLA. But the NFL was great. College is great. It's just good to have football overall. The whiteout was awesome. Florida's a real team. And yeah, let's jump into week 4 of college football this week. And let's jump into week 3 of the NFL. I am grinding, researching, stats. I don't care. We are not having another 0-5 on max pick 5s ever again. Ever again. I pinky promise you that. That was atrocious. That was absolutely atrocious. So stay with me here. If you're going to bet, because I know people that betted my picks because they sent it to me. They told me, hey, I'm riding with you this week. That's great. I let you all down. We're not doing that again. Stay with me. I promise you we're getting winners. 0-5 is not happening again. That was brutal. That was brutal. But thanks for listening to another great episode of the Mac on Sports podcast. It's just good to have football back. It just brings a joy in the air, and it's starting to get a little colder now. That means even better football, more football. Ooh, it's great. It's great. It's great. Enjoy the Lions-Packers tonight. I love you guys, and peace out.